Today I am going to be going through my bullet journal. This is definitely a long-awaited video for a lot of you guys. I've mentioned it in vlogs, I've mentioned it on other videos, I've featured it on my Instagram and stuff. I keep saying that I'm going to do a video on it, and this is that video. So something I want to make super clear before I start is this is not pretty. The inside of this is a complete mess. It is all over the place. There is blank pages in here, there is skipped pages, there's pages with smudges on it. I got this because my practical planning in my other planners just was not working for me, and I needed something that I could just kind of experiment with. Seeing as with a bullet journal you kind of draw up your own planning system, I thought it was a good way to go. It wasn't too expensive because obviously it's just a notebook. I did get myself a Leuchtturm notebook to use. I have got many notebooks I could have used, but this appealed to me because of the dotted paper. So it does come in lined and blank and grid, I think. I am glad that I didn't do a video on this any sooner than now, because I feel like in the past couple of months I've started to kind of find my feet with what works for me. So I feel like I can kind of show you the journey that I've gone on to get to this point. I'm not going to blab on any longer, I'm just going to get on with it and show you how I've been using it. So the pen I've been using is one of the ones from my shop. I personally prefer gel ink pens in black, and I do have a lot of those on my shop, so I've just picked out one from the shop stock. So starting out, I did attempt to use the bullet journaling system where it has like the key and everything, and I did use the index, but I don't know where it's gone. I might have ripped it out. I vaguely remember ripping it out because I used it and then I just didn't use it, and it got confusing and it annoyed me, so I just took it out. The index just wasn't for me. I feel like if there's something important that I need to find, I'll stick a sticky note in the top or something. It does come with 2 bookmarks, so the things I'm using at the moment I can bookmark. But yeah, so I tried out the original kind of bullet journaling system. Didn't work for me, couldn't keep to the key, couldn't even make up my own key, just didn't work for me, so I scrapped that. So these pages are all kind of just trying out what's suggested for bullet journaling. So there's the future log, there's the kind of monthly overview, rather than having the monthly view which has all the boxes. And I tried this for a bit, I got like the main dates down for that month and I could add to it when I needed. And on this side I had a running to-do list for the month. And then the same again in December, I had the monthly overview and the running to-do list. And this was when I was using the index because all of the pages and stuff were jumbled, so I had like a monthly overview, a weekly overview, another weekly overview, I had a shopping list in the middle. Like, it was kind of confusing, so I made the index. But I never used the index. I never really looked back on these pages. They were just kind of a tool. So yeah, so I used it for November and December, tried it out. I tried the daily log. That did not last very long. Couldn't deal with that because I had so much I needed to plan ahead for. I kind of squished a week into here because I didn't want to use another page. And then here I started to split my weeks into 2 pages. So I'd have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then at the bottom I had a little notes section. I had a go at decorating. I wrote my own titles and the days of the week and stuff. Like I said, I put a shopping list in the middle, which was kind of an ongoing shopping list for the month. So I would refer back to that, and then I carried on the weekly spread. So it's all over the place, but I was just trying things out. I needed to find a system that worked for me. So I had a weekly spread, I had another weekly spread, another weekly spread, which is kind of getting to the end of December. Then we got to the end of December, or like Christmas. I started to kind of round up the year. So I started a to-do list for the last to-dos of 2016. I started a little list of to-dos for my shops and my YouTube. I had a blank page because I smudged on it and I just didn't want to use it. I then did just a massive brain dump at the end of the year. Got everything down that was in my head that I needed to do and needed to remember. So when I started to plan January, I had it all here. I didn't have to remember anything. I could refer back to this and kind of neatly organise when I'm going to get stuff done. So as you can see, I set up January, but I didn't fill it in. I think this was the point where I realised I was kind of missing my monthly overview, like the box grid. The list form of a monthly overview was working fine until I needed to add more than one thing on a day. And I have seen other people kind of like rehash it, but I missed this layout really. I loved using this type of layout in my A5 ring planners. The only issue that I had with that was the rings, because I hated having to take the pages out to write like in these boxes because the rings would be in the way and it would go all unneat. That is definitely something I love about having a Leuchtturm or any other A5 notebook that you use, is having the A5 format and size but not having the bulk of a ring bound planner. Didn't end up doing a weekly spread for that month either. And then suddenly we're on to February, which I did fill in. I also started a kind of key that works for me. So I had all the events and stuff in pink. I had work stuff in blue and other was black. And obviously once I'd done them, I would cross them off with a line. I add washi tape in the blank boxes in the month because it does help me to see like each week, like how many days I have in each week. So yeah, on this column I have a little no spend that I tried, and then I have the key written there as well. I then decided that the weekly layout that I had going on, it just wasn't working. I just wasn't using it how I imagined I would use it, so I just kind of scrapped it. So I started to plan my weeks on one page. So I'd have the week that it is at the top. I would have a running to-do list, and then at the bottom I'd have like an ideas section. I suppose kind of like a brain dump. So I did carry that on to the next week. I added a section to kind of get on top of my Instagram posts because I wasn't posting very often on my Instagram. I do have 3 work Instagram accounts, which is my MyGreenCow, my Daisy My Jewellery and my Cloudy Cow. So these little stickers were from Beautiful Planning, I think. I'll leave a link to her shop below because I love these stickers. I also started to fill in some blank space with kind of like journaling, I suppose. So I got some happy mail and I stuck the stamps in here. I stuck in some of the washi tape and the little sticky notes that I got in the happy mail, and I just kind of wrote happy mail from Charlotte in Australia and put the date next to it. This was me kind of dipping my toes in the water and seeing if I wanted to journal in here as well. It didn't really catch on. I didn't carry it on at all, but planning a week per page did carry on, and I kind of rehashed the layout a bit. So I put a little bar at the side and I had my to-do list on this side. So on the little bar at the side I had the Instagram posts. I also started writing down when Jack was working because I found myself asking him every day when he's working, so it was easier for me to say, when are you working this week, what's your rota? And I could write it down and I wouldn't have to keep asking him. Also on here I added a weekly to-dos, like things that were happening that week. So I've got recycling, hoovering the house, changing the bed. When I moved on to this week though, I didn't really like using that system. I just kind of bunged them all in the to-do section. I carried on the Instagram thing. I also put my uploads, like when I'm uploading videos. Then we move on to March, which I just did not decorate. I got the basics down. I was super busy. I had some events and stuff going on. I had work for the Do Crafts magazine that month. I had my mum's birthday, there was Mother's Day, there was loads of things to remember and I just needed them down somewhere. I also rehashed my keys. So I have pink as events still, blue is still work, black is still other, and then I added in highlighter, which is ready. So like when I've uploaded a video, got everything ready to post and it's ready to be posted, then I'll highlight it in yellow, and then once I've posted it I'll cross it out. This way I could pre-record videos, upload them, have them all ready and like know which ones I've got ready, and then post them as and when they're meant to be posted. This system I am still using right now because it's worked so well for me. Again, I carried on this weekly system. Here I didn't really decorate it at all. I kind of like was like, am I still going to use this? Again, kind of wrote it out but didn't really use it. Things got busy, didn't really use this. I think I ended up using a just kind of like list pad to do my to-do lists on. I stopped using this because I didn't have the time to set it all out and stuff and like figure out what I wanted that week. I just needed to get them down somewhere, so I had them written down and out of my head and I could get them done. So yeah, March kind of fizzled out a bit, and then because I wasn't trying to catch up with March, I actually had time to sort out April. I started to use stamps to write the days of the week and the numbers and stuff, which I really like. I like how this looks. It is a bit more time consuming, but yeah, if I have the time to do it then I might as well do it. At this point I hadn't really figured out what I wanted to do around the edge, so it's left blank. But as you can see I did manage to use this productively. Again, I went back to the system because it did work before and I thought I may as well give it another shot. Ended up not really working by the next week, so I gave it up again. Left a blank page because at that point April was done. Like the only thing I was relying on was the monthly layout. The weekly layouts I wasn't passionate about them anymore. I didn't want to do them, I didn't want to look at them. I was just focused on getting this stuff done, and I think I did have a separate to-do list as well, like on a list pad. I kind of left a blank space, kind of left that as like a pause, like okay, let's restart. So May was a really busy month for me. During this month I got Bonnie, it was my birthday, I started Patreon, I had a lot of stuff going on so I made sure before April ended that I got my May monthly spread sorted, so I knew that I had something to refer back to. Again, I used stamps for the days of the week and the numbers, and as you can see I did try decorating, so I used some flower stamps and I also used flower stickers. I then decided that I kind of needed to work on like monthly to-do lists rather than weekly, and I decided to split the to-do list into kind of general to-dos and also Patreon, because that was a new thing and I wanted to make sure that I was on top of it. Instead of scrolling through one massive to-do list to find all the Patreon stuff, it was all there. So yeah, that really did help. I carried on and I tried to get June down, which kind of went wrong. I did the grid and everything. I started doing the stamps and stuff, and I smudged the grid and then I smudged the stamp, and I just was like, okay, let's just stop. Let's just take a break. I'm gonna go back to the to-do list for this month, like on a separate list pad. Obviously during June we had Bonnie as a tiny puppy and she was an absolute handful, so June was kind of like a write-off. I left a blank page and then I came back to this in July, and this is where I'm at now. I still use the days of the week stamp at the top. I've started kind of raiding my sticker stash for alphabet stickers because I have so many of them, I might as well use them. I've added the key at the top because I've started doing a little doodle panel down the side, which is something that I've been very into at the moment. I have started doing design work for the Love from Lizzie kit for her stamps, and in doing that it's kind of opened up my love for doodling again. I used to cover pages in my school books and stuff in doodles like this, so it's actually really nice to be able to just kind of go for it at the side. I did film a video showing the process of me doodling this for Sarah from Sarah Zorrel, I think it is. She is Doodles by Sarah on YouTube. I'll leave a link to the video I did for her. But yeah, it shows me doing this. And then I decided to try out the split to-do list for the month, and I split it into a lot more different things this time. So I have my Patreon to-do list. I also added a section for income. I do want to get my expenses and stuff tracked a bit better, but at the moment everything for that side of things, like my accounts and stuff, is all over the place, so I didn't want to go into too much detail. I just wanted to get something down so I could kind of reference it of how much money I've got coming in, and also how much money is going out as well. I decided to add an outgoing bit at the bottom. I have my Cloudy Cow to-do list, my YouTube to-do list, I have the Days of My Jewellery one, and also an other to-do list, but I've realised now I needed a MyGreenCow one rather than YouTube, because it's kind of like blog, YouTube, Instagram. On these pages I've also added a little sticky note of, well, this one is basically the envelopes that I need to order for packaging for Cloudy Cow, and this one I've just started to write down my favourite journaling techniques because I want to do a video on that eventually. So it's kind of like a little idea sticky note rather than having it on my to-do list. I've kind of just done it separately. Days of My Jewellery is kind of on the back burner at the moment, so I didn't really have, well, I have a ton of stuff I need to do for it, but I've kind of just put it on the back burner, let it roll. The jewellery's all there, it's all packaged up and ready to like post out and stuff. I just haven't really been advertising it too much. At the moment I'm trying to get on top of my YouTube videos. I have a few trips coming up where I'm not going to be able to film. As far as advertising and stuff goes, I always have my phone on me wherever I am, so I can do that from wherever I am. But yeah, filming and editing is a little harder to do when I'm travelling. When I say travelling, it's nothing exciting. I'm literally going to visit my family, which is exciting for me, but I'm not going on a plane or anything. I'm just going down south, and I also have a few day trips around the country to events. And because I want to be on top of things, I've also set up my August monthly overview. Again, I have the little doodle panel down the side that I did. I have my key at the top, and then I started writing in and planning videos. And then after this, I need to add in my monthly to-do list. So that's where I'm at with kind of like day-to-day planning in my bullet journal. Like I said at the start, it is kind of a complete mess, but I feel like I have achieved what I set out to find. So I now know that I can productively plan on an A5 layout. I just can't do the rings in the middle. I love this key. This key is really working for me. About halfway through the planner, I also have some random lists and stuff which I added in. These are really messy lists. This is just kind of like me scribbling stuff down. Over here I had all my plans and ideas for Jack's birthday when I did a Harry Potter birthday food spread for him. I did buy a pen loop to put on it because I did find that quite handy to have. But yeah, that is my bullet journal. That is how I've been using it. That is how much of a mess it is. Even though it's messy, honestly, even though it's all over the place, I am so glad I've started it. If you're like me, you just haven't found a planning system that works for you, you kind of have an idea of what you want, but you can't put your finger on it, I would say give bullet journaling a go. I would use that term kind of loosely because I haven't really done the bullet journaling system. It's not really a bullet journal, it's more just a planner in a bullet journal style. I've gone from this sort of planning system to this, and this is really working for me. Watch people's videos, try new things. If they have an idea that they've used, try it out for you, see if it works for you. You don't have to decorate it, you can decorate it. You just have to kind of experiment, and I haven't used this like everyone else uses them. It's not super pretty, it's not all neat and tidy. It has been a tool for me to find the planning system that works for me and that I can use productively, and right now I feel closer than ever to finding a planning system that works for me, which is quite a big deal because I have never felt like completely settled for a long period of time in one planner. If you've been watching me a while, you'll know that I jump about a bit. And yeah, I finally feel like I have found some sort of planning system that I can stick with and it will work. I love the size, I love that I can put this in my bag and it's not too bulky, but you still get the space of an A5 page. So that is how I'm using my bullet journal. I wouldn't really call it a bullet journal, it's more just my planner now. I am sorry if it's not what you expected, it's not super pretty, it's not the same as the amazing YouTubers that are out there who have like pristine designs around it and really pretty titles and stuff like that. This is just how I'm using mine and it's working for me, so I'm rolling with it. If you have any questions, as always, let me know below and I'll get back to you. I will leave links below to the things I've mentioned in this video, like shops and stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video.